What are some skinny people problems? I get cold easily. No. That's not a joke. I lost tons of weight once and one of the biggest changes I noticed the most was how cold I was all the time compared to before. Being bony and sharp when being hugged. One of the most devastating moments of college was when my crush went to lay her head in my lap and she declared I needed to gain weight so I could be comfortable. My 24-year-old daughter works as hard to keep healthy weight on as I do to get mine under control. If she gets sick and has no appetite she drops down fast and it's frightening to see. I bounced around a bit between ideal weight and kinda pudgy for a lot of my life. Since food allergies became a big deal. It's been a battle to keep my weight above always sick with something level. It's a goddamn shitty show now. I need to use medical formula to keep from dropping dangerously low. I'd take kinda pudgy forever if it meant I could eat normally and not be nauseated or anaphylactic all the freaking time. I'm a skinny guy in the trades. I'm not heavy enough to do a lot of stuff. Open bracket. Yup. I worked aircraft maintenance for the USAF. I passed my PT test. But a bunch of daily tasks I literally didn't have the mass to accomplish on my own while my co-workers could. Hell. One day a girl I worked with tried pulling the "can you do X?" I'm a girl. I told her you've got easily 80 pounds on me. If you can't lift it, I certainly can't either. Double quote. People making a circle with their fingers around your wrists. Funny thing is I've gained 40 pounds since college. And I can still do the circle finger thing around my wrist. Apparently my wrists will always be skinny. Hard to gain weight. Stomach doesn't want it. Bones can sometimes look more prominent. Which isn't great. Clothes are too loose on you. When people tell you to eat more. It's hard to eat loads because your appetite for food isn't great enough. Edit. Typo. All the shirts that look good on the mannequin turns out to have pins in the back. I didn't discover the words fitted or athletic fit until I was in my 30s. It's become the most helpful aspect of clothing shopping as a 6 feet 2 inches 175 pounds man who is all leg and arm. The shame is that I still have to roll my sleeves up though because nothing goes to my wrist unless it's made to fit a hippo. The stupid logic of manufactured clothing sizing of taller equals fatter. But at least I'm not wearing boxy belly shirts anymore. Whoa. You ate all of that? Double quote. Just because I'm skinny doesn't mean I don't like to eat. In fact, I love to eat. My metabolism is great and I work out a lot. Gah. I hate when people make those comments. People call you weak all the time. Yup. Bartend and people stare in awe when I carry 2 whole 24 packs of beer to stock. If I had $1 for the number of times I've heard. Do you need help with that? I probably wouldn't have to bartend anymore. Edit. On the other hand, a lot of my regulars bring food in for me very often. Nice little bonus. Having to deal with people's comments about your weight body. You look anorexic. Do you even eat? I'm scared you'll blow away in the wind. Put some meat on FGS. No one's going to want to get with a bag of bones. One time I walked into work and the first thing a customer said to me was, "My god, can't you go eat something? Haven't you seen these Kardashian girls? Men aren't looking for a bundle of sticks." Like wow. Thanks for ruining my day right off the bat, asshole. When I was skinny, people would comment on how skinny that I was, but when I was fat they complained about how fat I got. Lol. I went from being a size 2 where everyone told me to gain some weight to a size 6 where people commented about how I need to watch it before I fill out too much. If you don't like baggy clothes, good luck finding something that will fit you. I've resorted to buying my clothes from Europe because I can never find clothes that have the slim fit I'm looking for in Canada or the USA. Pearl and Bear jeans are my go-to jeans. They fit how I want and are cheap. It hurts to sit too long. Yes. But I guess I never realized this was a skinny thing. I just thought sitting too long maybe your ass hurt. Noodle Arms comment update. Congrats on your post going viral. It's harder to build muscle when you're skinny. This is it. I've been working out pretty regularly for 30 years. And bulking up is just about damn near impossible. I'm 50 now. So that ship has sailed anyway. But even with regular exercise including weightlifting, I just never could develop the raw strength of my bigger boned friends. As an underweight girl, no thank you. I'm full no. You're so small. Take more. Double quote. People randomly touching your stomach and saying shti like you have no fat on you at all. Do you? Double quote. People comparing themselves to you. Saying they wished they were like you. If they were skinnier life would be easier. People hitting on you and you being uncomfortable. And telling a friend but the friend saying they wish they got that attention and it makes you feel bad about being uncomfortable even though it's a creepy old guy and you just wanted to vent. My grandmother calling me the ambassador of world hunger. NGL kinda funny but I can imagine how annoying that could get as a skinny person. I feel you but still mad funny to hear that for the first time. Overweight people shitting on us for no reason. Like, some of us can't help being skinny, you know. And the ones who do that are the ones who would be incredibly offended if you said anything about their weight. Because it 100% comes from a place of envy and insecurity. I was super skinny in high school and have been gaining weight lately. One time at work one of my co-workers, who is overweight, got genuinely angry at me when I mentioned having gained like 10 pounds within the past few months because I'm not even fat. I never even said I was fat. And I wasn't even complaining. I'm happy with my weight gain because I'm not uncomfortably bony anymore. Not my fault she hates her own body. Finding pants that fit, for a guy. Yeah, I've got a 29-inch waist. I am in the men's section. Waist sizes start at 32. Not being able to break a branch by jumping on it. Being colder in the winter. People saying they envy me because I can eat a lot and not gain weight. They don't realize that I have hypoglycemia and must eat almost constantly. I tell people I eat like 3,500 plus calories on an average day and they just flat out don't believe me. Why would I lie about that? It's not cool. Eating is basically a chore and as a result I don't get to really enjoy food often. Not to mention, just 2 entrees from Applebee's is basically 4,000 calories. Not that unreasonable for a whole day. It's not politically correct to call people fat, even when they are literally morbidly obese. But it's perfectly fine to make fun of skinny people constantly. Women do this especially. Both towards men and other women. And they do it openly and to your face. And almost nobody around them bats an eye about it. And if you don't believe that or never experienced it, it's because you were never what society deemed too skinny. As a guy, the crippling sense of low self-esteem. Reading all of these responses is like a checklist as to what gave me problems growing up. The constant comments. Problems when pants shopping. Constant eating but nothing to show for it. People using fingers to put a ring around my wrist or upper ankles. Comparing myself to athletic friends. Etc. It was a struggle from middle school through college. Now, as a middle-aged guy, I look at my man gut and think, whoa, I could use a salad. Double quote. People constantly trying to make you eat more because you're so skinny. People staring jealously at you going into a store and finding clothes that fit around the hips waist but aren't long enough, too long. Trying to gain weight, muscle mass. Over a 2-year time span of working out I was attempting to go from 155 to 170 pounds. I made it to 165 and just couldn't ever get past that basically because I couldn't get myself to eat anymore. And it was difficult for me to even get to that point as I can't force myself to eat if I don't feel hungry. Back when I was skinny. Finding clothes that fit. The bust is way too small compared to everything else. Now I'm overweight. Finding clothes that fit. The bust is way too small compared to everything else. Now I'm overweight. Finding clothes that fit. As a male, society doesn't take you that seriously when you're skinny. Especially if you look younger than your age plus you are skinny. The implication is that you can't be a real man if you don't look like one. An ideal man is big and muscular. while skinny small men are seen as weak and vulnerable. It makes things such as first impressions, meeting people and dating far more of a challenge because you constantly have to validate yourself to others simply because of your appearance. I used to be fat as fuck. Now I'm skinny and the most apparent difference is I get cold much faster. Doesn't matter how I layer up. Small boobs. Small boobs fine. But people being dickheads about us for having small boobs not fine. I want to love my body. It's so much harder to do that when the rest of the world tells me I should hate it. Annoying to wear bracelets because of skinny wrists. People thinking I have an eating disorder, family constantly asking if I am eating. No ass can't twerk looks silly on the dance floor when I try to shake my butt. Sometimes it's hard to feel sexy because I have no curves. People commenting on my weight in general. It makes me really uncomfortable and I never know what to say. Even if it's a compliment. This is just the way my body is. Can we just not comment on it? When I was skinny, every guy friend I had, their girlfriends, always wanted to fight me for whatever reason. Other girls called me anorexic. I was pressured into modeling but I didn't do it. Skinny people are worth more than their body. Other than that, I couldn't donate blood and had to take iron supplements. I'm skinny and small and people confuse me for a teenager sometimes when I'm actually in my 30s. I was born premature so I think it stunted my growth. We can't all be a 6-foot linebacker now, can we? Something I recently found out. Rib pain. Woke up with a stabbing pain in my chest and phoned the doctor who said it's quite common with skinny people. Nothing to do other than rest. Stay on painkillers and wait for it to fade. Having to wear a wristwatch too tight. Or a pants belt too. To a point you have to make a fold in the pants for them to fit in. Also trying to find pants is a nightmare. I was really skinny when I was a teenager. One of the things I noticed was my female friends pretty much hated on me for being thin and constantly made references about my body. I felt really small compared to the older men that would creep on me and I felt defenseless all the time. I gained maybe 45 pounds since being that small and some muscle too so I don't feel as small but I won't ever forget that feeling when I would get cornered by the men. I realized that I got creeped on a lot back then not for being skinny and attractive, but because I was quite physically obvious a defenseless child. Shaving your pits. So hard to get all the hairs. And the comments to this day I don't wear shorts or skirts. The assuming I don't eat. Having a bony ass that never fills out pants. Looking horrible in tank tops. Like spaghetti arms. That's just off the top of my head. Can't sleep on my side because my bony knees touch each other and it hurts too much. To sleep on my side is have to wear thick sweet pants or put a cushion between my knees. Whether we're skinny because of an illness, skinny from lack of appetite, or skinny from a high metabolism. Keep you're too skinny. You should eat more shit to yourself. Either that or don't be offended when we tell you you're too fat, you should eat less. I'm very petite. It's sometimes hard to find my size. I'm 19 5 feet 1 and weigh 92 pounds. I wear a size 1 in pants. They usually never have my size. Also for some reason people always want to hug me or pick me up and it gets quite annoying, or you get doubted for your size. Or you never look your age. People won't tell a fat person they are fat, but find it perfectly reasonable to tell a skinny person to eat a cheeseburger. Well, in the black community being thick is seen as the ideal beauty standard, so when you are a skinny black girl you are often called anorexic or you are constantly a target for rude comments about your weight from strangers and family members. I used to be a twig and the struggle with this is I couldn't exactly be cocky or confident seeing anybody could squish me with just one move. People assume I'm anorexic. No joke, I've had about 5 people say this to me. When in reality I eat way too much and just have a high metabolism. It's also awful because the last thing an anorexic person needs is people saying, oh my god you're so skinny, you're like anorexic. Like either these assholes think eating disorders are a funny and cute thing to make jokes about, or B, they think they are helping by publicly pointing out what is surely obvious to the person with the ED. Having sex with other skinny people gives me bruises on my hip bones. Also, I can't sit on hard chairs and surfaces as long as my fattest family and friends. Never being able to comment on my body insecurities without some rebuttal that I'm skinny and should have nothing to complain about. I eat a lot. Eat whatever I want. And always have. And people have told me repeatedly throughout my life that if I continue to eat like this, I'll be fat. I had an ex that would scream at me to stop eating and try to control what I eat because you'll get fat. I had an aunt try to knock a plate with cake from my hands because you'll get fat if you eat like that. There's more examples, but I won't take all day writing. Basically, people frequently assume that you have to diet to be thin, and that's not always the case. And they're often dicks about it, as though me somehow gaining weight would magically be terrible and that I need to stay small. Being pregnant was a struggle. You are expected to put a certain amount of weight on, and I never realized how hard it was to gain weight. Breastfeeding was the biggest struggle. They wanted me to eat 2,500 calories a day, which was pretty much impossible for me. The top comments have the main ones, so I'll add this. Personal space. Because you don't have a buffer. People stand directly in your face. Crowds are awful. I've put on about 60 pounds since college, still in the healthy BMI range. Not that BMI matters at all, but that should give you an idea of how gross I was, and now I actually have a bit of breathing room. Still, none of the societal problems I had as a skinny person were nearly as bad as problems overweight people face. Ironically, the only problem I had that was as bad, worse than a fat person's, was health. When other people feel the need to talk about you being skinny, like completely out of nowhere, and you're supposed to be okay with it because, hey, it's a compliment. But actually, is it really a compliment? Because it often doesn't really feel like it. There's layers to it. But you develop an awkward sense of humor about it to try to brush it off and still seem humble, but worry you're not seeming humble enough. And everyone looks at you weird. Or at least it feels like it. And secretly you wish the earth would swallow you up. I get anxiety. Can you tell?